Ohio State holds off Texas in what was a defensive showcase for the Buckeyes. And I can't wait to see those Arch Manning Heisman odds after this one. Buckeyes, big winner in this one. Let's talk about what they did, how this is going to inform the rest of the weekend, and who the number one team in the country will be come Tuesday, not Labor Day. What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. You picked one hell of a good day. We talk college football. We talk football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and answer questions in the comments below. Did you expect that the Ohio State defense would be the story of the game for the one possession win that was low scoring, that had almost no offense, but had outstanding offensive line, outstanding defensive line play? As a matter of fact, this reminded me of Alabama LSU, the Les Miles era, the Nick Saban era back in 2011, 2012, as we're watching this thing. And off the rip, man, the Buckeyes refused to let Arch Manning do anything at all. If anything, Texas fans, send your apologies to Quinn Ewers, who was way better against a different Ohio State team and led you to 2 conference championship appearances, a Big 12 championship, and 2 college football playoff appearances. Now you are at least 1 loss, right? Going into this season, Manning goes 17 of 30 for 170 with a pick and a TD. We didn't get much of anything out of the receiving game for them, but that was to be expected. You thought it was going to be a running game anyway with, Quintravion Wisner, 16 carries for 80 yards, 5 yards per carry. CJ Baxter looked good from time to time. It felt early like Texas was getting pushed against that Ohio State defensive line. But I got to tell you, the 4th down stuff, man, just ridiculous. I know that Matt Patricia is in year 1, but we got to say this experiment is already going well. They held Texas to just 336 total yards. For perspective, last year, Oklahoma averaged 331 yards per game. They went 6-7. Okay? 5-14 on 3rd down for Texas, and 1 of 5 on 4th down for Texas. 2 goal line stops for Ohio State in this one. You didn't need to be spectacular if you were Julian Sayin. You just need to keep the ship on course, and he did just that. 13 of 20 for 126 with a TD. CJ Donaldson found his rhythm a little bit later. We got to see the power back that he is. 19 rushes for 67 yards. Doesn't sound like a lot, but in those got-to-have situations, he was there. And Carnell Tate loves to beat up on Texas. That's 9 catches for 136 yards and a TD against Texas, while Jeremiah Smith basically got off to the kind of start this year that he did last year. Remember, he dropped his first pass against Akron last year in his first target ever. It didn't start that way. He changed his gloves. Turned out to be okay, but you always knew that Texas was going to take away as much of Jeremiah Smith as they could. And between Malik Muhammad and Grayson Littleton, you had some really great quarterback play. But Jalen Gilbo just ended up on a poster, courtesy of Carnell Tate, on a 40-yard catch that ended up being the difference in the game, honestly. When it was 7-0 at half, one of the things that I was thinking about is when is the last time that we saw a number 1 ranked team be shut out? And, we got an answer to that. It has been 11 years since we saw a number 1 ranked team be shut out in the first half. And we were looking like getting our first shutout of a number 1 ranked team since 1996 when Arizona State was able to do it in Nebraska. And before that, you would have had to go back to 1988 for the last time a season opener ended with a number 1 ranked team being shut out. That being 1988 Miami versus 1988 Florida State. So long ago that Deion Sanders was on those teams. Again, I got to say, I am excited for what Matt Patricia is able to do with this defense, because that was really the thing that was sticking in the Buckeyes' craw. If there was one thing you didn't know enough about outside of Julian Sayin, how he performed in his first start, it was how Matt Patricia was going to call this defense, and he did an outstanding job. He simulated pressures. He had the great coffee stunt with Arvell Reese where he looked back, which is a great new move. I've seen this in the Tennessee-Syracuse game. Guys are really making the offensive lineman read their eyes, and if they turn their head, offensive lineman takes his eyes off that blitzing linebacker. The linebacker takes a step forward, and all of a sudden he's coming unblocked. That happened for them. Great play by Sonny Styles in this one. I was not sure about that dude for reasons. And then Jermaine Matthews, 5-star recruit, a number 1 recruit at his position, ran a route for Ryan Wingo, picks off that pass underneath him. First takeaway of the season for Ohio State. Again, everybody on defense was in their bag. And this statistic that is going around that was massive, right? of Julian Sand being a first-time starter versus number one ranked team. You had to go back all the way to Jim Harbaugh in 1984 for the last time you saw a first-time quarterback beat a number one ranked team in his first start. This happened. This streak is over. At Orange Bloods, they thought it was 18 games. I could get as far as 16 back to 2010. That's remarkable. The Super Saiyan made this his day. I wrote this column at Fox Sports. You can go read it. I was saying we're going to remember Saturday for Julian Saiyan, not Arch Manning, because how he plays is going to inform how we talk about him and Ohio State for the rest of the year. And he came through. He is 1-0 against the number one ranked team in the country and 1-0 as a starter at Ohio State. Hell of a showing. And Ohio State pulled out all the guns that they had to go get this one won. They brought in players from last year, Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau. We're looking around and Will Howard is hugging Julian Saiyan as he's coming off the field. We know just how big a game this was, and the Buckeye fans showed out. You got false start penalty after false start penalty, and Steve Sarkisian, who was just frustrated with the way his offense was going. They got it on 4th and goal inside the 1 yard line. They got stopped. It was as if Ohio State's defense was here to take that heart and soul from Texas all the way. And for the folks that picked this game in a blowout, Paul Feinbaum, I wonder what you're going to say when you got to do a show on Monday, Tuesday. Like, it's one thing to say that you thought Texas was going to win this game. By the way, I picked Ohio State to win this game, and you can go check the receipts. To say that Texas is going to blow out Ohio State, Feinbaum, what are we doing now? You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that are owed apologies now, mostly Ohio State fans, who went into this one catching strays and being told this is not last year's team. You're not that good. The number 3 team behind Penn State, a team that they have owned, that they've turned into a rental property. And now, what are you going to say now? Yes, I'm already going to tell you, the number 1 team in the country for me when my rankings come out, top 25 on Fox Sports, is going to be Ohio State. It's about who's going to be 2, who's going to be 3, who's going to be behind them. I didn't look at Texas and see a team that could be the best SEC team in the country, unless you think that team can be Georgia. You think that team is going to be able to beat LSU, Bama, even Ole Miss? That team's got to go into Sanford to play Georgia. And I expect the atmosphere will be just as diabolical at Sanford as it was at Ohio State. It's about to get hectic for the Longhorns. And there are a lot of Longhorns who watch this show. And you just going to have to show up to church tomorrow. You're going to have to show up to church tomorrow. Petty is playing Mo Bamba at Ohio Stadium, up 14-0, as Texas is trying to figure itself out. For those of y'all that don't know, Texas and Texas A&M, they love to play Mo Bamba as a hype song for them. You know, Mo Bamba went to Texas, right? I don't know why Texas A&M be doing it, because Texas A&M is just wild like that. But I got to believe that as this is such a program-defining win, we're going to see more of the same from Ohio State. This is a game in which it looked like they were kind of forcing the issue running the football. James Peoples was doing nothing. He's going to get opportunity. He's going to be better. But this is the kind of hardcore win you want if you're a Buckeye fan. We were more physical than the team. We played better defense than the team. And we won with our defense. We did not win throwing the ball all over the yard and run the ball all over the people. We played sound fundamental football from the first quarter to the last quarter. Outstanding win for the Buckeyes. And Feinbaum, send them your apology.